All right.
All right, I've got rain, I've got clouds. This is Cleveland.
All right, let's go. We are streaming. I'm making sure we've got sound this time. I was just doing a little Facebook Live YouTube a minute ago, and we did not have sound. Let's see if we've got it now. Let's load this up here. Just talking about rain, just talking about some heavy rain. There's wildly enough. You can see here on your total strikes, there is 0 lightning with it, but there is some pretty good rainfall with it. So that might be, yeah, we've got sound. All right. So basically, this is what I'm looking at right here. There's this line of heavier rain. There's some steadier rain back behind it, lighter to moderate rain, but still some pretty good rainfall. What this is doing and what this is going to kind of do to the whole day today. Actually, let me make sure I've got the comments turned on here. All right, I think I've got them turned on. Anyway, so while everybody gets in here watching some of this, I'll give you a quick little brief overview for some of the early folks who are popping in. This is the line of, not even thunderstorms, just the line of heavy rain trying to roll in. That yellow, that red pushing through Cleveland, low visibility, ponding on the roads, not great, but it's after the morning drive, so most of us are at work for this anyway. Behind it, it's steadier, lighter to briefly moderate stuff, but the bigger concern is what this is doing to our atmosphere as this rain continues to keep temperatures cool and kind of keep us from heating up and fuel the afternoon thunder. Notice the areas that aren't getting any of this. This is Canton, Champion, Youngstown, New Philly. You're going to heat things up. You're going to see some more thunderstorms as we go throughout the day today. So let me dive into this. I'll give you, actually, let's back up. Let me give you a brief overview of everything. There's your radar. It's soaked on the for the West Siders this morning. I want to walk you right through one of our little future casts here and show you essentially the whole thing. There's your morning rain. Models are picking that up very well, very easily. This is midday. The main batch of rain tries to pull out of here. Once we get into the afternoon, notice you've still got some upper 60s and low 70s. Let's get into about 2, 3, 4 o'clock. Notice you've got some more heat, and that cold front, as it dives into that more humid air, you'll get some of those stronger storms. And I think this is going to be what I have to watch for later on today, is just this line as it tries to roll through. You see some of those brighter colors in there. That's just the models trying to pick up on what could be some pretty strong storms. Should pull out of here, might have a few lingering this evening, but most of this should be out of here by around sunset. At least this severe threat should be out of here by sunset. All right, let's get back into the radar, show you where we are, show you what we've got going on. If you were on just a little bit ago, sorry about the audio issues. Sorry about that. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. Let's zoom into it. Show you where some of this heavier rain is. Crazy enough, with these downpours, there's no lightning with it. I mean, your total strikes is at 0. So heavy rain, Euclid, Cleveland, Parma. I'll zoom in. We'll go a little farther. We'll go street level with some of this heavy stuff, pushing along that I-77 corridor through Independence, Brecksville, Broadview Heights, Richfield. Man, look at that heavy rain. I'm going to try to add a little more of a pause on this. There we go. Hinckley, getting hit with some heavy rain right now. It's the turnpike right there. But if you see, I mean, this is only I can measure this. This is a 5-mile wide little path. So it's maybe 15 or 20 minutes of some heavy rain that tries to roll through. So it's only moving at about 30 miles per hour, kind of pushing off towards the east. Now, that being said, there's a lot of rain behind it. So even though this heavy rain from Euclid, Lyndhurst, down through Parma, all the way into like the Brunswick, south of Strongsville area, Medina, even though that's really where the heavy rain is, back behind it, it's still raining pretty steadily. So you've still got the concern for, some ponding on the roads and low visibility, but it's just wet. There's no lightning with it. No thunder. There's no big wind with it. I'm not talking about big thunderstorms, and I'm not talking about any hail or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I can pop in this little button here. It's called our Baron button. It's like a product that takes in a bunch of stuff, and that'll tell us where the hail would be. It would be right there. We're not getting any of it. There's no hail. There's really not much wind with it. We can confirm that with our base velocity. No, storm relative. There's not even not a whole lot popping in with that. So it's just a bunch of rain. Just a bunch of rain for our Monday morning, just after the commute. As we get into the second half of the day, these areas that are getting the rain now will not have a threat for severe weather later on today. So that's the good news. These will not have any of that. Are the comments? There we go. They're filtering in here. So we've got a few people watching. Got a little over 100. If you're tuning in right now, then you're probably wondering what in the world is going on. Why are we doing this streaming here? There's no severe weather. There's zero threat for any damage with this. It's all heavy rain rolling through. And that's really kind of why I'm popping in on here and not like on our news station, because we can. That's the joys of Facebook, YouTube, and the social media. So you've got this line trying to roll through here. And I can put this in motion and show you what we have. It's pretty interesting. And this is going to tell the whole story for the day. See how this heavy rain is just rolling right on up through. So it's essentially along and north of 71. There are some light showers pushing through Wayne County. Maybe a little brief, moderate burst pushing through like the Lodi area. That's really about it. Elsewhere, it's pretty much 71. And on this side, on the other side of it. On the south side of that 71, if you were to draw like a straight line all the way up through like Ashtabula, through Montville, this side, this is where temperatures are still going to warm up. This is where temperatures are going to make it back probably into the lower 70s rather. I almost said 80s. No 80s until Wednesday. But this is where you're going to have some more heat, lower 70s. And all of this area from like New Philly up through like Youngstown and southeast, that's where you have your best shot for some severe weather later on today. I can actually show you, let's see here, 3-hour rainfall. Pause it. And if we're talking about this morning's concerns, a concern for right now, it's all going to be about the heavy rain rolling in. So a little over an inch. When you get into these green colors, that's about an inch or more. So, half an inch to an inch of rain. Those darker colors, that's an inch and a quarter near Tiffin. Let's go to Sandusky. About a half an inch. So that's pretty good rainfall this morning. That will not eliminate, but it will limit most of the heating for later on today's severe weather threat. So that's essentially what we're watching. Heavy rain this morning, limiting our thunderstorm chance for later on today. I want to look at temps because it's Facebook and YouTube. We can hang out for a little bit. We can chill. We can just take a step back and analyze this stuff together. Kind of let you know what's going on while I'm figuring it out also. And this is, wildly enough, this is exactly playing out how the morning models and how we were showing you on Good Morning Cleveland. There's your cool down from all the rain, lower and middle 60s. That's not enough heat for severe weather with this system. But there's it's already 70 New Philly, Carrollton, 70 in Millersburg. Oh, you bet. That's where you're going to see maybe mid 70s. That's up there. Yeah, so here it is. We just got that latest run and that latest model in there. Look at that, 75, 76. If you're in the mid-60s, no way are you going to have severe weather later on today. But if you've got mid-70s, that's enough heat for this line to try to roll on in. So as you keep an eye on your temperatures for later on today, if you eventually get up into the mid-70s and those thunderstorms are trying to roll into your direction, into your area, you've got a shot. You've got fuel out there, and you've got a shot for what could be some strong ones. Things like this, I'm going to have to watch really closely. Things like this that pop up right around midday. There's a front that's kind of rolling in here. And as that front slides in, these storms might kind of ride that boundary, and they might be rotating just enough to, without a doubt, have some hail and some strong winds. They might get strong enough to actually produce some damaging wind and have some large hail, maybe 1 inch or larger size. But an isolated one of them, isolated one or two, might have just enough of kind of an inflow to pop up a brief isolated 1 or 2 tornadoes. It's possible. It's not a good chance, but it is definitely possible. Sherilyn Stifler, it's muggy down here in New Philly. Looks like rain already. Yeah, and that's the issue. That's the big concern. If you're in New Philly, by this afternoon, you're pushing mid-70s. So, yeah, it's super muggy this morning. Temperature you're already at 70 right now. I mean, the temperature going to start to really get cranking. Here's what it looks like in Sandusky. If you've ever got a shot for severe weather, that's not going to do it. Clouds and mist in the morning, that's going to limit all of that, especially if it lingers a little bit longer. Let me show you some more cameras around the area. I think I could show you. I don't know why that's popping up green. That's kind of crazy. Probably because it's so hazy. My chroma key is trying to fade out a little bit of it. Let's see here. I've got our silo cam I can pop in here. Yeah, it's just rain, heavy rain. You look south, though, that's some... Here's our Hilton cam, pretty clear shot of the rain rolling through. We'll go to Akron, a little different story. Misty, man, that does not look great for. It looks great for limiting the severe weather. If you're looking for thunderstorms, that's really going to limit those. Oh, we've had that rain try to roll through. Like Wayne County. Here's Ashland County. Go to Wayne County, Worcester. Just cloudy. We've got practice out there. I don't know what we're practicing for. What is it? It's June. What are we doing? Yeah, where you don't have that rain, you've got more heat in there. Will it be over in time for the Guardians game? Amy, that's a tough call. That's a real tough call. There's zero severe weather threat for the Guardians game. I want to be very clear. Probably not any even thunder or lightning for the Guardians game, but you might still have a few showers lingering. Because it's at 6:40. It's a little bit earlier. I think if it's at 8 o'clock game, then it's probably dry. But I do think you might have some rain early, some pregame stuff. But yeah, I still think the game's going to be all right. I had a coworker ask about Little League later on this evening. I mean, look at all this rain. That's a ton of rain rolling through. So fields are going to be wet, that's for sure. And you've got this rain right here. This will be hanging around essentially. Even Akron's getting in on it. Canton's getting in on it. This isn't enough to totally get rid of the severe threat for later on today, but it is going to cut it down. It is going to limit it quite a bit. This heavier rain, these clouds, this will essentially get rid of any chance for it. And NOAA, the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. I think I can pull this up on here. They issue a risk map essentially for, that's exactly what we've been saying. They issue a risk map for thunderstorms and for the potential for severe weather. We are on that marginal side. So if you're going to put a number on it, if you're going to put like a 0 to 5, 0 meaning 0, marginal is 1, slight is 2, enhanced is 3, 4, and then 5. Moderate is 4, high is 5. We're on that 0, just regular rain and some thunder. Marginal, 1, and then the slight risk. We've been talking about all morning long how once this works into that untouched air, all that heat up into PA where they were dealing with the flooding last couple of days, more strong storms trying to roll through there. I can zoom out a little bit farther. So it's interesting. What we're looking at here, what this is, and I'll show you this on our regional map, is here's that cold front sliding in. Here's our little bit of a break because of our morning rain. And then here's another little batch. There's just enough. You need a couple different ingredients. You need heat, humidity, and you need some sort of a spin, like a trigger or some sort of something to get those storms kicked off and to maintain some strength. You've got that there because of the low that's hanging out over Wisconsin right now. Check this out. We can actually pop this on here. Let's get to our satellite and radar. Where is it? Right here. Check this out. get up there. So you can see those two different areas. This is the area that's sliding into that untouched air there. So as it rolls through, actually, I'm going to play this a little bit so we can get to our current. Erased my view. There we go. Then you get a little bit of a break. So here's the cloud cover. Here's the clouds and all the rain. This is everything that's limiting that severe threat, drops it down. And then once you get back into here, it's pretty untouched. And I think these are actually going to be some warmer numbers. And once this little wave tries to work into that this afternoon, might be enough to spark up some strong storms there. So if you're anywhere on this line from like Cleveland through Cincinnati, Indianapolis, this whole little area in here, Buffalo, Cleveland, all the way down, that's totally limited. It's called a capped. You're just capped. There's the potential for severe weather outside of it, but you're just you have this lid on it that's cooler air. It's denser. It's going to keep things from really developing later on today. All right, let's get back to where we've got some comments. Let's read some comments on here. All right. Not a whole lot of comments, but hopefully I answered your question about the Guardians game for later on today. I do want to show you where we are right now. There's nothing severe. Being very clear, I don't want to get anybody scared or worried about why I'm doing this. Just because I have the ability. I want to be honest with you. This is pretty cool. This whole setup we have here. I've got the comments on here. I've got our weather computer, and I've got our green screen here, so we can dive right into it. And technology, right? So here we are. This is it. Nothing severe. There's no lightning with it. It's just heavy rain, just downpours rolling through. We can get street level with this. If you live or have any friends from Twinsburg up that 271 corridor through Menor, big time rain. That is it. All sliding through. I'll pause it. You got Jate right there. So this is some good rain for the national park. Trying to push through. This is going to definitely mess with the river levels. If you're an outdoors person, right through Jate, you've got a gauge there on the Cuyahoga River, just north of Boston. There's I don't know what road it is, but it's maybe Jate Road or something. But there's the bridge right over the interstate there, right over the river there, and that's where that river gauge is. There's another one in Independence, and I bet that one eventually, with this little burst of rain, is going to be just enough to pop that through. I am going to turn off this banner. It's in my way. There we go. Oh, there's so much more room with the banner gone. There we go. There we go. All right, so we can see Peninsula, Boston, Jate. This is that heavier rain trying to roll in. It's rolling right on into like Hudson, Twinsburg, Junction, Solon, Falls Junction, rather. So, yeah, that's no lightning with it still. Let's zoom in farther. Through the national park. Be careful with downpours like this in the national park where you have that huge valley. You're going to have some runoff. You're going to have some, if you've got, it's Monday. It's probably the first week out of school for a lot of the kiddos. If you're trying to get outside and, burn some energy off on day one, kids are saying they're bored already. Well, this is some heavy rain rolling through the national park. So maybe a hike, definitely not a good idea right now. After this heavy rain rolls through, it's going to be muddy, but go on, you're hiking, you're outside. So after this heavy rain rolls through, just be careful. There's going to be a lot of runoff getting into the low-lying areas. Yeah, there's another little scan. Just push through, pushing into Twinsburg. There's no lightning with it. There's not much wind with it either. I can pop the wind on here for us. Just watch some heavy rain. Here, we can actually, let's, 26. There might be a gust to about 30. That's about it. That's about it. No hail with it, no real wind with it. Just talking about some heavy rain. Let's go up. Let's go through South Russell. Let's go through Bainbridge, Solon, Bentleyville, Hunting Valley, Gates Mills. Heavy rain. There's that 271 corridor. That's finally trying to dry out right along that 271 corridor once you get up into Willoughby, Wickliffe. Down through Bedford, still some heavy rain still lingering near Oakwood, but that should be tapering off within probably the next 5 minutes. The next scan will show that pulling on out. Let's head up Route 6, Route 322, Route 2, Route 20. Highway 2 all the way up through. This is through Geauga into Lake County, Kirtland, Mentor, Paynesville. Some heavy rain pulling through. Concord hasn't quite gotten in on the heavy rain yet. You're not going to hear it coming in. You're not going to hear it before it gets to you because there's no thunder. Mother Nature's weather app, thunder is off. There's no thunder with it. So it doesn't work with stuff like this. And this isn't going to bring damage, but it is going to bring some pretty good soaking rains. Good rain for our grass. Man, my grass is already starting to dry out a little bit. Early June typically tries to dry out this time, really by July, so it's a little bit early. But again, these downpours like this, they definitely help out the lawns. But yeah, Kirtland, Mentor, Chardon not in on it, Bass Lake, Fowler's Mill. You've got Route 44, which is still just with some light rain. But this is, what is that? Chillicothe Road, pushing through Peck's Corners. I feel like there's always police officers sitting there. Don't speed. Mentor, Little Mountain, Kirtland Hills. Some pretty good rainfall. Paynesville. Mentor's got some pretty heavy rain, but it should be on the back side. You're on the back side of that line. It should start to taper off. Now, it's not just going to shut down. Even back behind it, pushing through Cleveland, I mean, I can still hear it, on our roof here. There's still some showers around. But as far as the heavy rain, that's the leading edge. There's just so much mugginess. There's so much moisture in our air that's kind of what it's dealing with. Thelma, is there more for Worcester area this afternoon? Being that you're far enough south, you can't rule it out, honestly. The steadiest stuff, I know it's cloudy and kind of misty and drizzly, and there are a couple little light showers around, which is really going to limit how much you get, how much fuel you get. But if you get back up into the mid-70s this afternoon, which there's a shot, not a good chance, but there is a chance that you probably get in on some more thunderstorms. As far as damage, I'm not necessarily expecting Worcester to get in on damaging thunderstorms, but I do expect a couple more storms. And the issue behind that the reasoning is, temperatures right now are already, here, let me show you the temps. In Worcester right now, it is cloudy, wet, and 65, which isn't warm enough for severe weather. Let me get out of the way here. 65. You can see that behind me. Once we get into like New Philly areas just a little farther south, you've got 69, 72, 71. It's close. And this is where you're getting some more, it's called breaking that cap, breaking that cooler air, that warmer air. Once you get into the afternoon and we're talking mid 70s, then most likely that's where the strongest storms are going to be. Here's through noon. That main batch pulls out of here. We'll have a couple rumbles. So nothing too crazy, but just know that through the afternoon, we're still going to have a couple rumbles here and there. Getting into the afternoon, 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, that front is still there. Even though that main batch pulls out, that front will still be there, and it's rolling in. Along that line and south, you've got your lower and middle 70s. That's where you have your best potential for damaging thunderstorms and the strength and the fuel you'll need to kind of keep those together. Behind it, I do expect some more development, but with those mid 60s, it's tough. It's tough to get things like that without as much fuel. It's tough to get them to grow as strong as they need to get. So something to keep a close eye on for sure this afternoon in Worcester. I would still plan on another line of thunder, but the damage threat should be much lower. Oh man, that went rolled right on through. I'll go back to that. Stop it at 6 o'clock. And the next question, 6:30 in Cleveland. Here's 6 o'clock. The main threat, I think, of development for these thunderstorms, and the reason that the main threat for damage is south and east of us is because they'll be forming between 12 and about 2 or 3 o'clock, and then they should be pulling out of here by 6 o'clock for the most part. Back here, there's still going to be some heavy rain. There's still going to be the potential for that localized flooding, but honestly, I think the severe threat with this, anything beyond 5 or 6 o'clock is pretty low for us. You see the storms way up here that we were showing you just a little bit ago. Those storms, those could be pretty strong through central Michigan. Go a little bit farther and you see it all just sliding out. Once the temps drop into the 60s, your severe threat's pretty low. And then overnight, goodbye. How about that? By 2 a.m., this model's already trying to clear us out. So we drop into the 50s, maybe mid-50s tonight. Tomorrow, beautiful day, low humidity, tons of sunshine. Tomorrow's going to be gorgeous. Just got to get to it today. You guys want to see a 7-day forecast? Ben Stewart, the guards should play. Absolutely. I don't have any say in that, but they should play. Quick 7-day. Let's get into this. Here's your threat for today. 70 degrees for Cleveland. Again, mid-70s if you're south. If you're in south of Canton, then mid-70s, and that's where your damage threat's going to be. 73 Tuesday, 80 on Wednesday. We'll see that sunshine, low humidity. It'll be breezy, but it's going to feel incredible. By Wednesday, winds calm down. Sun comes out again, super bright, super warm. Straight up hot on Thursday, mid-80s. And then by, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, let me see if I can move this out of the way here. Pop that back just a bit. 82 on Friday. We're going to have to watch Friday closely. I think we should be essentially with this thunderstorm chance. This next system coming in here Saturday and Sunday. I think Saturday is probably the wetter of the two, but it's a week away. Timing can change things. If it slows down at all, then we'll take away this chance for rain on Friday. If it speeds up at all, we're going to add a little bit Friday evening and dry out your Sunday. It's really going to depend on when that system tries to roll through. I'm going to be real with you. Anything beyond 4 days, you get a 6 or a 12-hour change between model runs, and that's when you start to see some pretty steep changes in as far as rain chances throughout each day on your 7 days going to be. So, wouldn't put a whole lot of stock in anything beyond 4 days, at least as far as any certainties. All right, let's get back to the radar. All right, so where are we at? Let's look back. Let's go on a tour back along this line and see if there's anything developing behind it we should keep an eye on. There's that break. This goes through midday. The heavy stuff pulls out of here. These are your light to moderate showers through midday for the next couple of hours. And then there's your break. That break's going to be important. Once we get into that break, it's how much heating we can get along that front. Not a lot behind it. We can go even farther out. There's your heat. Just more heat. Once you get down into Kentucky, that's where you get your lightning. That's where you get your severe weather threat for later on today, especially like Lexington. Lexington to Pittsburgh realistically is like our biggest chance for some severe weather. Boom. SPC agrees. Tornado threat. Yeah, there's your threat. There's your 2% threat. These storms are going to be spinning right along that line. There's not a whole lot going on with it, but they're going to be riding, like I was saying earlier, if you're watching, depending on how long you've been watching, if you're riding or watching it, we're talking about them riding along this kind of front as it sets on in there. A couple of those storms might have just enough energy to kind of ride along that little boundary. So there's that potential. The wind threat, similar. The hail threat is there also. I think most of these, wind is going to be the biggest concern. 5, 10, 15% for all that stuff. You want to see tomorrow's outlook? Way east. See you later. Goodbye. All right. Here it is. Tracking some heavy rain. Let's turn your lightning back on there. It's interesting that there's this heavy of rain. And that is some heavy rain. And there's no lighting with it. Just rolling through. Twinsburg, eventually Streetsboro, where 480 ends. Hudson right now getting hit with some heavy rain all the way up through Solon. Yeah, getting dumped on. Yeah, Sherry, you're right. I hear that. Yeah.
Hello there.
Whoop, I said Sherry, not Siri. Phone. Yeah, cold and damp for sure. Like all May was just cold and wet and then hot and humid. I have algae in my lawn. That's a bummer. I need some big heat to get rid of it. I think heat gets rid of algae. Some sunshine. We need some sun cranking in here. Dan, where's your tea time? That's what matters, depending on the town. The farther east you are, probably going to be a little bit wetter. The farther west you are, drier. So Dan's got a tea time at 4:30. Lucky. I'm jealous. All right. So let's see here. This has been going on for a while. We've been talking, hanging out for like 30 minutes here. Let's go ahead and shut this down. I am going to, it's just heavy rain. If it was more than heavy rain, then that would keep this going, of course, but it's just heavy rain. Real quick, a big recap for all of this from Hudson all the way up through Fairport Harbor. That line sliding pretty quickly, actually, off towards the east, northeast. There's a boundary that's set up, a cold front that's trying to roll in here. This front is essentially trying to slide through. As that front slides into this untouched air, this warmer air, you're going to be in the 70s later on today, mid 70s. So this, we'll put a plus. This air that's going to be down here, I was standing in front of it anyway. The mid 70s down here with this front that tries to roll on. This batch rolls right on up, rides the cold front out of here. It's gone. Back here, we've got this front that's going to try to roll in, and as it does so and collides with these mid 70s, that's where you start to get in on the severe thunderstorm threat. Not everybody's going to get severe weather. If you're on this side, the other side where you're in the 60s, your severe weather threat is pretty low. You're still going to have some rain. Don't get me wrong. We're still going to have a few thunderstorms back here, but they're not going to be as strong, not going to have as much lightning, and they're not going to be, really as potent. Not going to be as potent. I miss you guys too, Paula. Oh, I want to break my monitor off there. And I can show you that with our Futurecast. The models are agreeing with what's going on. There's your little break after this main batch pulls out of here, maybe a couple downpours. Let's get into the afternoon. Watch it develop along that boundary between the warmer and cooler air. It's essentially just like it's not like much cooler. It's only about 5 or 10 degrees cooler, but weather's so dependent on like densities. So this warm, moist air has a lower density than the cooler, drier air. It tries to slide underneath that air, lifting it up. You get that warm, moist air lifting, and that's where those thunderstorms start to build. So that's what we're watching, that line. As that line rolls in, I think this is going to blast all the way through because I didn't put that pause point on it. So let's take you all the way to like 7. Okay. Well, all right. Here's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. There's that line rolling through. I'm just going to drag it. Drag the timeline down. 5. Notice that front doesn't move very far. So with that boundary still hanging out there for like, 6 hours? It's just back behind it now. Once you get to here, this is where the thunderstorm area is going to be. Back here, it's much drier. Cleveland, Elyria, Sandusky, Norwalk, Fremont. That's where, I think your late afternoon, early evening should be pretty. Still going to keep some storms around 7, 8 o'clock. And that's why I can't completely keep the Guardians game dry. It's 6:40 is the first pitch. That boundary is close enough. Any of these storms that kind of ride right up that boundary, they may have just enough energy or just enough because that cold front's there. They might be riding that kind of spinning. So they might have just enough shear to hold together. Meaning, I think heavy rain, maybe some hail and gusty winds are going to be the biggest concern with that. There's your evening, drying out. There's your overnight, clearing out. Good stuff. All right, so I'm going to pop this, I'm going to shut this down. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to email me, Facebook, Twitter. Again, my name is Trent Magill. If you don't know me, I do the morning show. Pop my name on there. You don't follow me on Facebook. I know I'm streaming this on my Facebook page also, but it's also on the News 5 Cleveland Facebook page, also on the YouTube channel. If you want to head over to Facebook, follow me. I'm Meteorologist Trent Magill or at Trent M Weather. Same thing for Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever. I don't know if I'll ever call it X, but Twitter, whatever it's called nowadays. I'm on there also. So feel free to follow me. I'll keep you up to date, and I'll also be doing the noon newscast in about an hour and a half. So if you are a News 5 viewer, pop on over there at 12 o'clock. I'll be there. Even if you're not a News Channel 5 viewer, pop on over there. I'll be there at noon. Give you another update because those storms will likely be popping up by around then. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good rest of your day. See you at noon.